Knowing what to charge for your product or service can feel like a tricky balancing act. You probably know what you'd like to charge. You may have an idea of what you think you need to charge, and then there's what clients are prepared to pay. The price people will pay for something is incredibly subjective. Some people will pay a lot for the same thing that others will only spend a little on. The difference is in the perceived value. Those people who will pay the higher price tell themselves that the price is justified by the value they receive. My name is Simon Batchelor, and in this video I'll explain why people will never simply choose to pay more for the same thing. They may do if they think they're going to get something different or better, but they won't simply choose to pay more. So why is that? Well, let's start with what I mean by more. First, you can't charge more than your clients are willing to pay. That's a fixed limit. If you try, then by definition they'll go elsewhere. You can charge more than you've charged in the past. Once you have clients, you can increase your prices when you need to, perhaps in line with the cost of living, or because you're offering an enhanced service, or because the cost of providing that service has increased. It may not always be well received, but it is at least linked to the perceived value that the client is getting or will get and that they've experienced. You can charge more than the market rate or competition. However, you can't just charge more because you want to earn more. You either have to deliver more value than similar products or services on the market, or deliver something different. There's a great quote by Seth Godin. He says, "People never pay extra. They buy something they want at the price that feels fair to them." What he's saying here is that pricing is the equilibrium of price and value. When these two are balanced, it's a fair exchange. The price is your indicator of the value of your product to the client. That price must match the value that the client feels they will receive. Value, therefore, is important. And yet value is all in the mind, and people value different things. Some value utility over appearance and have little regard for the status of what they buy. Others value and appreciate that perceived status with their peers over utility. This explains the world of designer or luxury goods. You can't tell a potential client what the value of your product is. That's up to them, it's subjective, remember. But you can work on providing the value that the client wants and has been led to expect. You can use your marketing to signal and position in a way that indicates how you would like your product to be perceived, the value you intend to provide. If you deliver on your promises, clients will feel that they have received a fair value. They might want more of the same, and they may well recommend your value to others. The key is to focus on that buying decision. Every purchase scenario is a choice with one of three outcomes. These three outcomes are: 1. They buy what you're selling. 2. They choose to do nothing. 3. They buy something else instead. If your product and price meet their perception of fair value, then they are likely to say yes and buy what you're selling. If your product and price don't meet their expectations of value, they have two options. They either do nothing or they do something else. When the price is perceived to be too high, people will often choose to do nothing because they can't make that exchange balance for them. The same can be true if your price is too low. It falls into that "this must be too good to be true" principle. If there are clear alternatives to your product or service, then they're likely to buy something else instead. Part of designing your product and marketing it is helping people understand that there is no good alternative because you and your product are unique, and that your product offers a recognizable value, i.e., it's a fair exchange. If you can satisfy these two criteria, then the price you charge is likely to be acceptable, just as long as it doesn't exceed that perceived value. You might be thinking, that's all very good, but I need to earn this much, so that's what I need to charge. I understand. To run your business, it's important to feel and be adequately compensated for your time and effort. However, the reality is that potential clients won't view your product and offer in this way. It's an easy trap to fall into when you first start thinking about pricing your product. Just because you want or need to charge a certain amount, it doesn't follow that people will pay that price. Equally, they may be willing or expecting to pay more, but by starting with the price, you've just limited yourself. Pricing is a matter of perspective. Pricing your product is simple as long as you consider it from the buyer's point of view. Start with the difference you can and will make to the client and continue from there. The cost to you of making or delivering something is largely irrelevant to the client because they're focused on the value. Your clients don't care as much as you do what it takes to deliver. They care about the benefit they will receive from the delivery. Pricing can take time to get right, but it's a lot easier when you have a product that is the perfect fit for what your ideal client is looking to buy. If you want to explore more about how to achieve this fit, then do consider my book, Reframing Marketing. It's a practical step-by-step guide to making a product that your ideal client really wants to buy at the price you're offering. You can find out more about that book and order your copy at reframingmarketing.com. I'll see you in the next video.